Welcome along, and we continue the army analysis series. Today we are looking at the Castilian 1200 AD list with Berber allies, the 1244 allies. So let's have a look. This army seems to be quite popular in the league. Quite a few players, when you look at their selections, they've got the Castilian army in their top 4. So I thought, okay, let's have a look at it. Why are people selecting it? What's good about this army? Let's find out. So I'll start with infantry. Now, the first thing I think is, for me personally, I just like a few decent units. A lot of these armies, because there's more cav, the way they're set up, a lot of the armies with the new DLC, you don't get that much good infantry. So it's good that even though it's only one, with the Berber allies you get access to one veteran Muslim spearman, and I think, put a general in there. The way things are at the moment with the new armies, there's not going to be much in terms of infantry that's probably going to beat this unit. Yes, some armies will bring dismounted knights, but usually only one. Maybe the guard unit, but usually only one. Okay, dismounted knights, maybe there'll be more, maybe 2, perhaps, sometimes 3, but then the army will be fairly small. So it's quite likely that this kind of unit will be facing just standard spearmen or worse. So it's always nice to have a good unit, and next to it, it's got an armored, a defensive spear. So you've got 2 fairly decent units there, which is great because you don't have such a lot of cavalry. You've got in this build, I've got 14. I've got your standard defensive spear, you've got the Muslim spear and your defensive spear, same unit. It's just looks different. This is a Muslim army, so you've got Muslim spearmen, but they're just defensive spear. We've got some raw spear I really like, as I always say. I've taken 4. I think they're great value for money. The raw spearmen, 24, same cost as slingers. So, for heavy foot, 100 POA spearmen, great. Yes, because of their quality. If they lose melee, then could be in a bit of trouble. But often they do. They outperform. In my experience, they outperform, and they can hold a better infantry unit in place for quite a while, and they're really good, especially from mid game on. Really good against cavalry. So I really like them. Very, very cost effective. You've got some irregular foot, which I really like as well. I think for the price, I always generally bring 2 with most armies, and they also do, as I've mentioned in other videos, they do great against cavalry in the open even, so because of their light spear. And then if you need to put them on rough ground, it just gives you more flexibility. Often the rough ground is not so large like here, so you could, if you were advancing, if I was setting up to play, I would probably put my irregulars here, back them up maybe with some crossbowmen, and hold this ground. Another plus of this army are the large selection of the cheap skirmishers. I always love to take the 24-point skirmishers, and you've got up to 6, which is great. You just save money. Generally I don't think you're going to win the game with skirmishers, but to have access to the cheap ones, very nice to use against cavalry, chase away the enemy skirmishers. So that's great, because in a lot of armies you only get 1 or 2 of the cheaper end ones. Then you have to pay 6 more all the time. So that's a plus. you've got quite a selection of light cav. Now, I haven't really used some of these units. These Jeanettes, they are light horse with javelins. They're 28. Could be good. They kind of seem to be like an upgraded version of the javelin horse. Average unprotected, average protected. So, you know, in their little swarm, they could maybe do well. I quite like javelin horse, so you know, if you surround enemy units, you can easily disrupt them. If you've got 4 or 5 of them, so that could be handy to have. You've got 2 knights. I think I usually take around 2 for most armies. Once it gets to 3 or 4, I think you're probably wasting money. And anyway, you've got a great unit, which is the camel lancers. There's a real pity you can't take more. At 46, absolute bargain. In my experience, they can fight and defeat almost anything up to knights and maybe city knights. But you know, that disordering factor is around plus 70 in PRA. So, you know, and they're lancers already, so they will just do a great job against cavalry. Great unit. It makes my top 10 of the best units in the game, so great to have them. In conjunction with your 2 knights, that's a pretty strong force there. Not much is going to beat it. Even these sergeants, they're lancers, and very cheap. Average armored, pretty good. Good unit for the price. So this is quite a well-balanced army. Got a couple of decent infantry units. Your massive spear. You've got raw spear, which I like. You've got the 24-point skirmishers, which I like. You've got camel lancers, which I like. Okay, you could have the way the points are as well. It might be nice to take some extra or different kinds of cavalry. They don't have a lot of lancers, light lancers, and the medium kind of lancers. So that would be nice if you had access to some of those. What else? Crossbowmen. You've got 4. You can change it up a little bit. You've got access to 5 altogether. So if I wanted another one, I could take another one. Just look at my points. I've got 33 here. What have I? Was it one of these? I took the Turkmen light horse. I think I had in my build. Yeah. So if we were gonna change it up, I was having a look. If we took out, say, some of these light cav. Say we got rid of javelin horse and skirmisher unit, and actually if we also took out one of these units, the upgraded javelin horse. What have I done? Let's just get rid of. Yes, okay. So then I can add another crossbowman and 38. I can add some massed archers as well. You've got access to. So if I wanted more firepower, you can add another crossbowman. That gives me 5 plus massed archers 6. That's a pretty sizable force. And I've still got 4 skirmisher units and a fair bit of cavalry. You could probably take out some of this light horse if you wanted, and maybe upgrade to maybe Muslim cavalry. Give you a little bit better cavalry. If you wanted city knights, wouldn't take much. You could take out, if you wanted, 2 sergeants and add city knights if you like knights. I'm not a huge fan of city knights, but when they're with 2 knights and camel lancers, they could be good. So you have got a few options. With this list. My main criticism, I think, would be that just a few units I really like, and camel lancers, you can only take 1. I really like them. Veteran Muslim spearmen, even if I could have another one, 2, that would be great. But only 1. No lancers, no light lancers, or anything like the Byzantine lancers, Muslim lancers. It's all light horse, quite a lot of light horse, and then I suppose these sergeants are okay. They're average armored lancers, so okay, they can maybe do a decent job for us. My grades, probably maybe a B. Maybe about a B. There are a lot of things to like about this list, but you have to take 2 knights, so that's 144 points gone. You've only got maximum of 6 spearmen, and then it drops down to irregulars and raw spear. Other armies, you might be struggling against the Dailami army, or about 18-20 impact foot. That's going to be tough. Armies with fairly decent, some of those Italian lists might have a few dismounted knight units. They're going to smash through you. Other armies are going to have lots of cavalry. You don't really, the way your army's kind of set up, don't have tons of cavalry, and with all that money going into your knights, you're caught really in between having some good cavalry and enough cavalry, and on the other hand having good infantry and enough infantry. Just for me, it just seems, if I had another veteran spearman, if I had a little bit more defensive spear, even a few more crossbowmen, I mean 5 is the max, just a little bit. I think one of my armies I looked at recently, was it the Teutonic Order? They had a little bit more. They had 6 crossbowmen and 1 raw crossbowman, so they had 7 plus mass archers. And we've only got 1. It's in some key kind of areas, just not quite enough. And that's why I'm just giving it a B. I think, yes, skirmishers are great, cheap skirmishers are great, but they're not going to win or lose the game, really. It's going to be your infantry and your cavalry. So, yeah, I'd like some more crossbowmen and more archers as well. And obviously with a list that has knights, you don't usually have access to the superior armored horse archers. Units like that, they could cause problems. Even a bunch of horse archers is going to cause you problems. Your light horse isn't going to last so long, and these units are going to get caught up. Probably against some of these newer armies, you're going to have to play quite defensively. Put your cav behind your infantry and just bide your time. Some of those armies, was the Georgian army had about, in my setup, it had about 19 cav. And there were a few other armies as well that had a lot of cavalry, and it's just going to be hard to deal with. So you're going to have to wait and bide your time. The Gasnavid, that had about 19 cav as well in my setup. So some armies are going to be really difficult to play against, and that's when you'd like a few more crossbowmen to counter them. But let's see. It does have a few good units. So maybe in the hands of capable players, this army can do well. Let's keep our eyes on it. Okay, thanks a lot for watching, and see you again soon.